today's lab session, we will look at this tool called BoolSim, which is a simple and easy to use tool based on JavaScript to simulate Boolean networks. So, welcome to today's lab. We will work with Boolean networks and see how they can be simulated. There are two major ways to simulate Boolean networks. You can basically use a simple tool like BoolSim that we will start off with, or you can use something that is based off of Python, which is called Boolean net. So, these are the two best tools in my opinion for simulating Boolean networks. I think you can just install this using pip install Boolean net if you have Python. So, but this is even simpler, and if we go back to the example we were seeing earlier today in the class, that is actually available as a demo here. So, it is called the cell cycle demo, where all your rules are there. So, this is the same thing. So, except that earlier in the class we were seeing something as psych d star equals psych d and so on. I think that is how Boolean net likes the rules. For BoolSim, it just says something like psych d equals psych d, RB is not of cyclin A and not of cyclin B and not of cyclin D and not of cyclin E, or P27 and not of cyclin B and not cyclin D, and so on and so forth. So, these are the rules. So, once you put in these rules, you can just tap simulate, and so here blue is false and yellow is true. So, you see a nice oscillation, and which you can actually observe here as well. So, you see that the time step keeps changing, and this is clearly a sort of cycle attractor with a period of, let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so, right. You can clearly see the repetitive patterns here. So, this is one thing. Maybe we should start off with a simpler example before we come here. This was just to show you what is actually possible with this tool. So, let us create a new network. Discard rules. Let us try to model the repressilator. Let us open up the real repressilator. What were the exact genes? So, they were LAC-I, lambda Ci and tetar. So, LAC-I is not of lambda Ci, not of tetar, and tetar is not of LAC-I. So, now you look at the network, save changes to network. I probably made a small typo, capital I. So, you can see it is case sensitive. Yeah. So, this is the repressilator, and let us start a simulation. This is the same oscillation that we were looking at in the previous class, and maybe I will pause, I will change the initial conditions and simulate. Yeah. This probably cycles through all those. So, we found that this was a cycle attractor with one 2 node cycle, 2 state cycle and a 6 state cycle. Let us see what this time series looks like. This seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different cycle states in the same node. I am just looking for where the pattern looks the same. So, if you see, let us pause it so that it is not distracting. So, if you see state 65 is the same as state 71, right. So, you have 6 different 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 6 different states in this attractor. So, So, let us say we make the representative a little larger and start simulating it. But this you might find a disagreement with what happens when you have an ODE based model, right. In an ODE based model, I think it is understood that you can't have 4 node respirators, they can't oscillate really well, because the there is a there are reasons for that, because there is no net negative feedback onto A, because because of the parity here, because of the fact that there are 4 nodes. But you will see that there are some limitations for these kinds of models. Let us just try a different initial state and let us see how long are the, yeah, even here you find a sort of a short cycle. So, there are other states that are out of this cycle. So, one way to do this, a really simple way would be to even fire up Excel and put in the rules. So, let us say A, B, C, D and A star, B star, C star and D star, and let us say this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. There are better ways to do this. This is a quick and easy way to do this. Now you can set up your rules here. So, this is going to be not of B this is going to be not of A. So, there you go. So, now you know what are all the states. So, you can even somehow put this up into cytoscape and visualize it if you want, and so on. You want to compute the attractors and so on. This is like a very quick and dirty way to do it. The right way to do it would be using Python, BooleanNet and maybe NetworkX and so on. But for those of you who are not very comfortable with coding yet, this would be a quick and easy way to understand if your network is working. And now I can just import that into cytoscape if you want to really just visualize how things look.
So which are you considering as nodes, and how are you for putting access between them?
So it should be directed. Let me just so every state is a node. So no surprises here. Every state is a node and every edge is from a source to a target, meaning from a start node from 1 1 1 you go to 0 0 0. Oh wait, I think the 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 was lost as the header, right? So this would have been a cycle that was lost as a header. Yeah. So you will see only 15 edges here instead of 16. We did take 16 edges as input, right? So the first line was lost as a header when I imported to Cytoscape. I wasn't careful enough. But essentially you see, so 1010 again comes back to 1010, whereas 0101 comes back to 0101, and we can try that here as well. Network, this is 1 0 1 0. So it's basically frozen. So it stopped in the second iteration itself. So if you look at the time series, wait, maybe I should like reset something. Wait, let's just copy this. New, yes, discard. New rules. Save changes. Now A on, B off, D off, and simulate. Time series, that's it. That's it. Right. So if I do the reverse of this, when I mouse over it shows me the rule. Yeah. You have the opposite as well. So this is just one simple way to visualize. So you have 3 cycle attractors of size 4 and 1 cycle attractor of size 2, and this is actually a cycle attractor, even if it seems like I'm missing the other edge, and these 2 are point attractors. They're sort of called attractors because as the simulation happens, points get sucked towards this point, right? The moment you fall in, if you have a very large system, the moment you come to 1011, you might be anywhere. So this may have other inputs as well, right? The moment you transit to 1011, you are caught in this loop. Or the moment you transit to 1010, you are caught in this cycle. It turns out that there is no other way to come here in this model, but there are obviously models where you will have that kind of a behavior. You could theoretically think of a model wherein there are the transitions happen only in. See, you need 15 edges, you need 16 edges. You can lay them out whichever way you want. And you can have certainly not have avoid having a cycle. Let's consider a very simple example, right? You need 8 states. I could just have them like this. How many functions are possible?
How many functions?
Yeah, how many functions are possible?
You don't have to write functions, right? Put everything as some constant.
No, I'm saying for a given system with n states, how many functions are possible?
What do you mean?
What is a function? A function maps Is that right? Or in other words, how many truth tables are possible? N states. Think about it. You have 2 to the n values here.
Each of those can go to each other state.
So what values? How many different truth tables can you have? This is fixed. How many different truth tables can you have? So this is going to be n into 2 to the n.
Sir, n is the number of states, right?
N
Yes.
is the number of nodes or states?
n is the number of nodes.
Then it will be 2 power n whole square. No, why is there another 2 power n? What will be 2 power?
So just think of it this way. So this is, let's ignore this left half, right? Let's look at this part. This is the truth table. How many entries in the truth table? How many entries?
Yes, sir.
N into
How many squares? How many squares are there here, man?
n into 2 power n.
N into 2 to the n. Each of them can take 0 or 1. That is 2 to the no. So if each of these values can take, each of so many values can take 0 or 1, you have two choices for each. So multiply 2 so many times. How many different truth tables are possible?
Yes, sir. Sir, if there are 2 nodes, it is 2 power 2
2 power 2 states.
2 power 2 states.
Correct.
Hmm.
How many different truth tables are possible? 2 nodes means you are talking about A and B. A and B, how many ways can you combine? So you can say A is one function, B is one function, A bar is a function, B bar is a function, A bar and B bar is a function. There are so many different functions you can make with A and B. How many such functions are possible? Which means how many truth tables can you build? So in 2 states, you will have these. This is the size of your truth table. This is always going to be fixed 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, right? On the right hand side you can have 0 0 for everything. You can have just 1 1 changed, you can just have one more change, like that. You can have ones for everything. How many ever entries are here, which happens to be 8, you can have 256 different truth tables with just 2 variables. There are 256 ways in which you can combine 2 variables basically. If you talk about the graph thing, the graph will have 2 to the n nodes, and it can have a potential, how many edges?
Each node can connect.
And the graph will have exactly 2 to the n edges. This number is absolutely correct. I have no doubts about this. So here the number of nodes are fixed. So each edge is a different truth table. Each set of edges.
It's the same thing. A bar, like 2 power A bar B is 2 power A B. Same thing.
What?
Isn't P to the power n
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
power n is P power mn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. 2 power n to the power 2 power n is 2 power n into 2 power n.
Okay. Okay, I hadn't intended to do any of these, right? So what I intended to do was this. So you have a network and you have rules. So let's go back to that network we saw in the previous class, which is a cell cycle demo. So this is the network and these are the rules. You have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 states, right, as we saw earlier. So you have total of 2 to the 10 possible global states of the model. You have 10 nodes, so you will have 2 to the 10 different global states. Now you can, so now you can just knock out CDH1 and see what happens.
Just like saying it's false.
Yeah. We want to make it false. Yeah.
Right. So let's save changes to network and simulate. So this system can still oscillate. So CDH1 is not critical to the cell cycle as far as this model goes. Right. So now we go here. So now let's knock out an seemingly important cyclin protein. Cyc B equals Cyc V and not Cyc P. Save changes and now let's simulate. No, it's all dead. Right, in 4 iterations it.
Sir, what is the advantage of oscillating?
This is a cell cycle. It's supposed to oscillate. The cell cycle is an oscillation, no?
Okay.
So it goes through G, S, and yeah, cannot sustain oscillations. So these are the kind of conclusions one can draw out of simulating these systems. Obviously, our conclusions are going to be a little limited because, as we discussed earlier, you are just restricting yourself to two states. There is on and there is off. There is no intermediate concentration. You have either 0 moles or something, or you have like 100. Right? There is no. You can't say that. There are other ways actually. There are polynomial, systems and so on, wherein your states are not in 0 1, but in say 0 1 2 3 4. So you have 5 different states. I have like low, I have like no or off, low levels, medium levels, medium high levels, very high levels, or on. Right. So you can have a gradation which may be useful in certain scenarios as well. I hope you got a good overview of how to simulate Boolean networks using a simple tool called BoolSim today. This tool was based on JavaScript. In the next video, we will look at a tool called BooleanNet, which is based on Python and can be used to simulate even larger Boolean networks.